Basketball's given me everything.
I love the game. The game gives back to me.
I'm most grateful just to be able to play the game that I love.
It brings me joy. It's my safe space.
The thing that I appreciate most, having a second family.
I'm most grateful to play with some of my best friends.
The opportunity that it's given me to meet so many great people in my life.
It brings people together. I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else.
I'm thankful for basketball because it's given me so many opportunities in my life.
Opportunities to travel.
Places I've been able to see.
All over the country. It brought me across the world.
It has given me the opportunity to see things I never probably would have without it.
Giving me a chance to get an education at a very prestigious university.
I'm grateful for it all, the hard stuff and obviously all the good stuff.
We start tonight's men's basketball Tobacco Road doubleheader in Durham, where number 9 Duke is back at Cameron after the early season gauntlet took them to Chicago. Fresh off a win over Michigan State tonight, the Blue Devils welcome in Bucknell. With that, we say hello and thanks for joining us alongside Tim Welsh. I'm Mike Monaco, and in the last 7 days, Duke has faced a pair of top 20 opponents in Arizona, then Michigan State. And after the loss here at home to Arizona, good response Tuesday in the Champions Classic.
Early stress with the new lineup for Jon Scheyer, but he likes it. He says, I think we're going to be good, but I'm not sure. But when he spoke to us today, he says, I think now I know we're going to be good because I saw a lot of progress from Arizona to Michigan State.
Good win over the Spartans in Chicago. Kyle Filipowski, and then how about Caleb Foster?
Well, Caleb Foster really bailed Duke out because Michigan State was loading up on Kyle Filipowski, and everyone's going to do that all season long. So Duke has to find a perimeter game, and Foster did just that on Tuesday night.
He had 18 points, 4 of 5 from 3. He did so much of his damage in the second half, and he hit a couple of daggers late. 4 in double figures for the Blue Devils, who were celebratory at the United Center, and a homecoming for Jon Scheyer, whose team had to fend off the best efforts of Tyson Walker for the Spartans down the stretch. And so Duke comes out of that stretch against Arizona and Michigan State at 1-1. 2-1 overall, and now Bucknell is here at Cameron, and away we go. Bucknell's got it first. They're 1-3. Very proud Patriot League program. Home loss to Delaware, a loss at Penn. They beat Niagara on the road, and then most recently a loss on the road at LaSalle. And they've got the game's first points with Rue Biziak, the 6'9" sophomore.
Biziak is a good shooter. His numbers have been struggling this year so far, but playing very confident early.
Duke operates with 4 starters back from last year, of course. Same lineup, and there's Kyle Filipowski off target from deep. And the rebound down to Josh Bosco. Gets his first start of the season at point guard for Bucknell, and only the 3rd of his 3-year career, because Bucknell is without its starting point guard, Elvin Edmonds, who suffered a knee injury Tuesday against LaSalle, and he's going to be out 5 to 6 weeks. Noah Williamson, no, and then the 7-footer commits the foul.
We might say you come off Michigan State and Arizona, Michigan State, and now how are you going to attack? How are you going to get better tonight for Duke? Well, Jon Scheyer is still trying to get his team to be a little bit more patient in the half court with their shot selection, change sides of the floor with good spacing.
Yeah, that was one of the things he said to us. Shot selection and also valuing the basketball. Jared McCain out of the corner for 3.
Well, that's important because McCain has not shot the ball well. Tyrese Proctor has not shot it well. And Caleb Foster shot it well the other night, but as a whole, Duke has not been consistent from the three-point line.
Yeah, of course, struggled in that regard last season, and so far just 34% from 3. That one rolled off, and Filipowski clears it 90 seconds in. Filipowski off the bounce, dropped it off for Mark Mitchell.
Well, everybody talks about the power, the scoring, the this, the that with Filipowski, but clear it off the glass, bring it up yourself, take it into the paint. Great delivery.
Gotta love that from your 7-footer.
Well, that's what Jon Scheyer told us today, Mike, is that that's the thing that he's improved the most at, as well as clearing the passing lanes and attacking at the other end.
Liftoff for Kyle Filipowski, and it's a 7-0 run for the Blue Devils.
Well, the loss of Edmonds is key tonight for Bucknell. How are they going to get into a half-court offense? You cannot throw loose half-court bounce passes against this Duke pressure.
There's Noah Williamson, the 7-footer from Latvia, with a handoff for Bosco. Now the shot clock winding down as Filipowski shows on Bosco. They move it, and BGX sticks a three.
BGX 2 for 15 on the season coming into this game. We watched him shoot this morning, though. He's got a beautiful stroke, and John Griffin III said, we're going to let him shoot the ball and get out of this slump.
The head coach back at his alma mater in year one as a first-time head coach. Proctor on a step back for the Blue Devils.
He's another one that John Shire said he is a good shooter, but hasn't shot it well. We know, though, he's run the team almost perfectly so far this season. 19 assists with only 4 turnovers.
Gotta love that as a coach. Played all but 1 minute Tuesday in the Champions Classic. Jack Forrest is 24 in orange. He's the top scorer for Bucknell. Been quiet so far. Ian Moda Jr. off the bounce, back out for Williamson. He, like Filipowski, can step out and shoot it, and McCain one-arms a rebound.
You see what Duke's philosophy is. Their game plan is they are not going to leave Jack Forrest open at all.
Filipowski turns it over, passing out of a double team. Bosco in transition. Moda made the cut, and Moda draws a foul. All right, so we mentioned John Griffin III. First year as the head coach at his alma mater. Takes over for Nathan Davis, who spent the last 8 years as the head coach. And Griffin was a 1,000-point scorer, and he was a captain as well in his time in Lewisburg.
Well, he's carved out his own niche, not only as a player and playing overseas and as an assistant coach and working in the NBA, but now getting that first head coach opportunity. And he grew up in the coaching world. His dad was a longtime great coach at Siena and St. Joe's, and so he speaks to him quite often, and he should, because his father was a terrific coach and still pays attention to what's going on with this program, that's for sure.
They were on the phone for an hour this morning. John III said his father was trying to talk him through how to win every possession. Filipowski had the block on Moda, and McCain pushes for Duke. Up by 3, first 4 minutes here at Cameron. It's going to be changing defenses from Bucknell. We're going to see a lot of different things that John Griffin throws out there for the Bison today. Mitchell going to work, trying to muscle it through, got his own miss, and then got fouled. Well, John Griffin III has played at Cameron before. We'll stroll down memory lane when we come back to Durham. The last time Bucknell faced Duke, John Griffin III back in 2006 was a sophomore for Bucknell, and he came off the bench against Sheldon Williams, J.J. Redick, and #1 Duke. And Bucknell that year ended up having a 27-win season. They made it back-to-back trips to the NCAA tournament, and John Griffin III back here at Cameron for the first time in quite some time tonight.
He was talking about that experience, and he said, we asked him what he remembered the most, besides those 2 buckets, were the volume in this building. But Bucknell's has a terrific program, and John Griffin III, there's no doubt in my mind, will get them back to where they've been. You know, every program hits some rough patches, but Bucknell has a program, and he understands it probably more than most because he played there and had a lot of success as a player.
Yeah, it's a program that won 8 Patriot League regular season titles in a 9-year span from 2011 to 2019. And you talked about the volume. Today at shoot-around, they had the speakers right on the court, and they had the music blaring. Everything from techno, Tsunami was playing at one point, to older school, Enter Sandman, got the Metallica fix, as if you're in Blacksburg.
It's not my style anymore, Mike. I go for a little more smooth jazz, but I can deal with it when a coach is trying to prepare his team. And John was laser focused, had a very strong preparation day today because he's trying to teach his team. They play so many games this month, they don't have a lot of time to practice, so when they have a shoot-around, they have to take advantage of getting better.
Yeah, it's their 4th road game in a span of 9 days. They're now by 5 in the first 4+ minutes here at Duke. On a skip, BGX knocks down another. You mentioned he can shoot it. He's got a good stroke. He had missed his last 11 threes coming into tonight.
Oh, you look at somebody's numbers that are poor like that, you say, well, what's going on? Is he just in a slump, or is he taking bad shots? I think a little bit of both, and it's also a comfort level playing under a new coach, and he looks very comfortable tonight.
Blakes, Foster, and Stewart into the game off the bench for John Shire here in the first 5 minutes. And again, it's going to be changing defenses from Bucknell defensively. Jeremy Roach off the bounce with the shot clock winding down on Foster. Comes up short. Blakes the rebound, and then blocked by Pip Ajayi.
Well, Duke's not going to leave Jack Foster, so that means somebody will be open. They're not going to give natural help. Just a little fade, a little brush screen on the weak side. Good identification by Foster on the skip pass. Duke needs a little bit more ball pressure on the perimeter.
John Griffin III has called Rubijiak a hidden gem. 6'9" sophomore from Iowa. Foster on the baseline, out of bounds for Sean Stewart.
Well, he went through that play earlier today. You've got to switch. You've got to get better ball pressure and try to force the ball to the corner, but that was just power deluxe at the rim.
And now Ajayi, D2 Mercyhurst transfer on a handoff for Bosco, being hounded by Blakes. Long two, not there on the step back, and then last touch by Stewart.
Just a simple screen to screener play here, and Bucknell over helps. A little miscommunication. I don't know if they want to switch that, but they didn't switch it, and they should. They over helped on the Filipowski on the outside. Again, he's just drawn so much attention.
And then looked like he kind of shoved the freshman Stewart where to go. Blake's the rebound off the Jack Forrest miss, and Forrest, coming off a career high 27, is still scoreless. Wide open Blakes. Can knock it down, and then a foul on the floor goes against Bucknell on the rebounding action.
Bucknell trying to take Kyle Filipowski out with two defenders on the inside, but the extra activity on the block out.
John Griffin III talked to us today about how physical he expected this game to be. Having watched the last couple of games that Duke played, he told us that he showed his team more clips of fouls and grabbing and all that than he did Filipowski makes on film review with his team.
Right now, though, Bucknell's trying to overplay on these out-of-bounds plays. They have to be careful because they should just make Duke throw over the top.
There's Roach. Can't knock it down. Stewart, the offensive rebound. Stewart banging, and Filipowski cleaning it up.
Too much attention paid to Stewart, and then forget about the big fella on the backside. Someone's got to rotate down, try to find a way to put a body on him, but Stewart showing that big-time athleticism.
The pogo stick freshman out of Florida. Good hands from Filipowski and company. Filipowski leads the break. Stewart underneath, had it blocked by Ajayi. And then Ajayi clears it.
What a recovery on the backside as Stewart went to elevate, but Bucknell resisted.
High energy Pip Ajayi, the junior from Canada, making his presence felt off the bench. Josh Ado, wide open, can't connect. Filipowski the rebound.
Duke is not leaving Jack Forrest at all. They are just, even on ball side or weak side, they are sticking with him and making someone else beat them from the outside or inside.
I told you he's the top scorer for Bucknell at 17 a game. Long two, Jeremy Roach.
Roach is such a smart player. Obviously, the four-year veteran, the four-year starter, just the glue of this team.
He's got the lead up to 8, and then he gets tagged for a foul on the perimeter. Fresh legs coming in for Duke as Roach sits after his first. John Shire said to his team at shoot-around today, we want to run, make or miss. He said, guys, we're going to have the subs ready.
Well, that's the way they should be playing, because they've got so many guys that can make plays off the bounce, including the big fella Filipowski.
There's Forrest on the drive, and it rolled off, and the follow not there, but Forrest runs down the loose ball. And then not deflected. Bijiek and Forrest can't connect, and it's a turnover. And the third one for Bucknell.
Well, Bucknell's going to have to find a way to get Jack Forrest free at some point. Just divert him, run him off some stagger screens, or even off some dribble handoffs on the outside, because right now Duke is just smothering him on the perimeter.
2 turnovers and 0 of 2 shooting for Jack Forrest, fifth-year senior, most experienced guy for Bucknell. High-low, here's Mitchell from Young.
John Shire wanted a foul there, and he's very upset, and I don't blame him. There's a lot of contact under the rim, but that was terrific execution by Duke against that zone defense of Bucknell. They went middle, then baseline.
Adds up to an 8-0 run for the Blue Devils. And John Shire got teed up. barking in the ear of Brent Hampton still after the no call on Mitchell.
Oh, this is great execution. They worked on this today. The flash cutter from the weak side, and then they go right inside and body slam right across. He got hit on the head, and I don't blame John Shire. I mean, these officials can't take the night off just because it's 19-9 and it's Duke versus Bucknell. I mean, these kids on both teams are playing extremely hard.
Some fire from the second-year head coach.
I don't understand what you're looking at. You're standing right there on the play, and the guy gets hit from the side and across the top of the head, and you don't blow the whistle. And this is what John's upset about. I don't blame him.
Yeah, he is still talking now with Tony Henderson.
See what coaching does to you, though, Mike? The nice, mild manner, maybe one of the nicest guys you could ever sit and talk to as a coach. Day of game, shoot around, and then this. This is what it does to you.
It wasn't jazz when you were coaching. That was post-coaching. 18-11 is the Duke lead, rather 19-11. They had momentarily switched it on accident, and Forrest has his first bucket.
Well, that's a good move by Forrest. You know, he kind of did it on his own. They spaced the floor on the weak side. He found a little lane and just made something happen.
Spinning Mitchell gets the roll.
Mark Mitchell, a key component all last season. They missed him in the NCAA tournament when he didn't play in the Tennessee game, and they paid for it because he's a valuable commodity. He does a lot of good things that don't show up in the box score for Duke.
He's got a game-high 8 so far, and John Shire is trying to get him going. Told us that Mitchell hasn't been great yet these first couple of games. 5 turnovers the first 2 back for Mitchell, and now Forrest is starting to get in rhythm.
That's a confidence in your face. Proctor was right up in his grill, but Forrest elevated over the top.
Knocked down 4 of them, part of that 27 we mentioned against LaSalle Tuesday. Against the zone, Mitchell had it roll off, and then Ryan Young commits a foul on Noah Williamson. 21-16 is the Duke lead 9 minutes into this first half at Cameron. Duke's got 9 deep already, but tonight won't have the services of the 7'1" backup big man Christian Reeves, who's got a boot on his right foot and yesterday sprained his ankle in practice, as he's dealt with a few different injuries early on this season. And then on the other side for Bucknell, they're without their starting point guard, the junior 3-year starter Elvin Edmonds, a right knee injury late in the first half in the last game for Bucknell on Tuesday, and he's going to be out 5 to 6 weeks, and you see how he had progressed so far this year.
Yeah, he's a gritty guard. He gets them into their offense. Between him and Bosco, it's a nice backcourt for John Griffin III, and you know, so he was concerned about it tonight, but Bosco's done a good job so far of getting them into the stuff, spacing the court, and just running the team.
John Griffin III said Bosco had to make as many sound decisions as possible as Bucknell retains possession. And so far, it does feel like they've done a solid job of that. 3 turnovers, that's it for Bucknell, and they've been feisty.
You know, it's not the best place to figure it out when you come here, but I think John Griffin III understands, you know, how to operate. You know, give his team confidence. He's tough on him, but give him confidence. And there's a good outside shot by Forrest coming off a beautiful out-of-bounds play. A little pin down on the weak side.
In a flash, he's got 10. He and Biziak have combined for 18 of the 19 that Bucknell's got. And Bucknell within 2. Against the zone, here is Foster driving baseline, finding Mitchell. Sends it back out for Proctor. Yes.
Well, Proctor's confidence is growing tonight. In the first game, he's felt really good from the outside, and Forrest has done a terrific job as of late, just finding ways to get open against that Duke pressure.
You said it earlier, Duke is not leaving 24 in orange. Bosco off the bounce, nearly lost it, and got it back to the freshman guard, Brandon McCreesh, getting some run with Edmonds out. Bosco driving kick, Biziak hoists, can't hit.
No, not a good look, a little rush shot by Biziak.
And now Mitchell got the early positioning with a size mismatch on Bosco.
You know, that's what happens. You know, I think John Griffin wanted a foul in the corner, but that was a rush shot. And when you take a rush corner jumper, that's what usually happens against Duke. An easy one at the other end.
Such a thin margin for error coming here for anyone. 7-point margin midway through the first half. Williamson turns the corner. Off glass, no. McCain off the bounce. Back out Mitchell. Got it. And that's a good sign for Mark Mitchell.
Now that's what he did a year ago, and he also distributed. His numbers have been down this year, but he's just trying to find his way with kind of a new lineup out there on the floor, and he looks real confident tonight, inside and out.
John Griffin needs a timeout. Mark Mitchell's got 13 for the Dukies. Mark Mitchell's first 2 games hadn't been great. Well, this has been a great first half for him.
Well, John Shire was concerned a little bit that teams are going to start sagging off him and they'll have to adjust their offense and he'll have to adjust his game. But this is the Mark Mitchell we saw from a year ago. So just confident, knows how to get open on the perimeter, and when the driving kicks are there, he slides to that open area with also a good power game at the rim.
Above his season average already. John Shire said, you know, I think part of it is maybe adjusting to playing a little bit of a different position with a different rotation for Duke this year. And yeah, to your point, John Shire said, teams are playing Mark Mitchell differently than last year.
Well, even Bucknell spoke about it today. They have a defense called Batman where they're kind of lay off him, but I'm sure John Griffin will make an adjustment watching Mitchell so far tonight.
Proctor fouls Forrest. Yeah, that's one of 3 different defenses Bucknell said it would use. A lot of zone, man, and then Batman sagging off both Mitchell and Ryan Young. Jack Forrest to the line, 5th-year senior from Lower Merion, Pennsylvania. Same area that produced Kobe Bryant. Hey, coming up next, our men's college basketball coverage concludes with UC Riverside taking aim at number 20 Carolina at 8 o'clock Eastern. Catch all the action right here on ACCN and the app.
John Shire spoke about Carolina. He thinks that people are sleeping on them, but I don't believe that at all. I think people really understand they're going to be much improved from a year ago, playing with a chip on their shoulder after not getting into the tournament.
We'll see how they look in their 3rd game of the year. By the way, 2 fouls on Tyrese Proctor, who's on the bench for Duke. 8 points, spread 8.5 to go first half. TJ Power into the game, can't connect. Offensive rebound, Blakes. Bounce for Filipowski, who got the seal.
Well, the pass and delivery was perfect by Blakes, but the Filipowski, the footwork, the ability to carve out space and find that open area and get himself open on the baseline and on the block is special.
Navigates defending the ball screen, and now Forrest hits another. Jack Forrest is cooking for Bucknell.
Now John Shire's a little bit upset with his defense now on Forrest. Forrest has done a good job of adjusting and finding himself and making himself available, but sometimes that happens, Mike. As the game progresses, you forget the game plan and you loosen up a little bit when a guy doesn't beat you. They better readjust against Forrest.
Filipowski gets fouled by Rubijiek. Forrest has a 3rd 3. 7-point margin. Bucknell hanging around against Duke. Bucknell's leading scorer, Jack Forrest, has a game-high 15.
Well, he's done it in a lot of different ways. He's a little frustrated at the beginning of the game, trying to figure out how Duke was going to play him out, not only on stagger screens, but off the ball as well. And they were not giving any help. So he's done a much better job of moving without the ball, creating off the bounce, and his teammates have done a really good job of finding him as well.
23-year-old who started his college career at Columbia, spent a year there, then 2 years at St. Joe's, and now in his 2nd year at Bucknell. So at St. Joe's, he overlapped with his now head coach, John Griffin III.
So he knows where to put him on the floor, and a very smart player. You can see in today's game, a lot of guys, it's a dribble drive, driving kick, but Forrest doing a real good job of making himself hidden on the backside of defense and doing a good job of using screens away from the ball.
You're going to have to rely on him a lot this year for scoring, a guy who in each of the last 3 years has battled injuries throughout his career. Duke leads by 9, 7.5 to go in this first half here at Cameron. With Tim Welsh, Mike Monaco, our entire crew behind the scenes. Ryan Young is switched onto the point guard, Josh Bosco, who's waving off help. Moda. Shot clock winding down, back to Bosco. Driving on Young. Kick. Moda hoists. Can't hit. Offensive rebound, Bijiek. Forrest triggers. Too strong. And the rebound ripped out by McCain and then off the shoe of Jalen Blakes. Keeps it with Bucknell.
That was a really good defensive set on that possession by Duke. You know, they didn't allow anything to happen in the middle. Even Ryan Young at 6'10" guarding the point guard, but using his feet, using angles, using that veteran savvy experience to deny in the lane.
So fresh 20 to operate with for Bucknell. Young is on Noah Williamson this time. And back out to Bosco. Forrest working so hard off ball, being dogged by Blakes. 5 to shoot. Bosco comes to get it. Drive and kick, and Bijiak couldn't handle it. And it's a shot clock violation and another good defensive sequence for Duke.
John Shire is going to use that in his highlights tomorrow. There's no doubt about it. They did a great job of denying on the wing. They played the ball screens well. They played the dribble handoffs. They helped. They hedged. They helped each other. They played 5 connected as 1.
So Duke's got it ahead by 9. Roach, McCain, Young, Mitchell, and Blakes, the 5 on the floor. Again, Tyrese Proctor sits with 2 fouls. McCain too strong. And last touch by Ryan Young.
That's probably what John Shire was talking about to us a little bit today. Just a touch quick. Instead of really probing the defense, waiting for the defense to make a mistake, he kind of gave in and shot it early in the clock with not a lot of player movement or ball movement.
He said valuing possessions, both with turnovers and with shot selection. Bosco looking for entry to Williamson. 7-footer pushed all the way out to the perimeter by Young. Williamson driving and scoring his first points tonight.
He's a good-looking young player. He's not afraid out there. He's pretty physical for his size. He's putting on some weight. John Griffin said to us that he's a guy I think can be real good in their conference.
And this goes against Duke on Mark Mitchell, trying to set up Jeremy Roach. A 7-footer, and he's just a sophomore with skills and handles.
This is just the seas parted here, and Young did a good job of guarding Bosco, but not so much guarding the big fella.
5 minutes a game last year for Williamson. He's stepping into a bigger role this year for Andre Screen, who transferred to Butler. Made the catch, sends it back out, and Moda can't hit. Young going to work. Shucks a skilled passer out of the post. Roach. And now Mitchell. So they sag off, and he can't connect.
Bucknell struggle a little bit trying to dribble drive into the lane because Duke gives such great help and they have such tremendous overpowering length, but I think they can get some open shots by driving it in and kicking it back out.
Pass was too hot to handle for Williamson. Off the drive of Bosco.
Yeah, but he was right there. They're probably a touch too close. He put it right up in Williamson's face and he couldn't react. Right idea.
Josh Bosco, the junior from Ontario, we told you, making his 3rd career start without Elvin Edmonds. 5 to go until halftime. Proctor in with the 2 fouls. Filipowski trying to carve out some space on Forrest on the block against the zone of Bucknell. Roach muscling on Bosco. Corner kick, Proctor. And the rebound to Williamson.
Good possession defensively for Bucknell. Very active with the zone. Rotated well and got out to the shooter. No second shot.
Bosco driving in again, trying to find Williamson, and off a Duke shoe. Mentioned the defense of Bucknell. John Griffin told us he was even going to toy with something he had never messed with before defensively. Switching from man to zone 15 seconds into a possession.
It's a good idea, you know, throw the kitchen sink, see how they react, but more importantly, it's down here. Can they score? Again, look at all the help Duke gives off the dribble. If Bucknell rotates to the weak side and looks to drive and kick opposite, I think they'll get some open shots.
Held ball in the arrow points to Duke after Moda went diving.
do such a great job of rotating, not only with their length, but they use their length to get deflections, and it's hard to see in there to make that extra pass in the lane.
And this forced Bucknell into 6 turnovers here in the first 16 minutes.
Right now they're playing that Batman defense. They are not guarding Mark Mitchell at all on the perimeter.
Filipowski got bumped on the block by Ajayi, and Kyle Filipowski is still down on the floor. Filipowski is in a lot of pain.
He's done a very good job tonight being physical, playing without fouling, which he's had issues with in the past, but collision on the opposite side of the floor.
As they look at Kyle Filipowski, we'll step away. We'll check on him when we come back. Center of your screen into the bottom right. Kyle Filipowski coming up to the block. Watch his right ankle.
He makes that little X cut across the middle of the lane. He's trying to post and then repost, and you see him go down and get up very quickly. So something to keep an eye on.
It's help off toward the Duke locker room. And that is hold your breath type of stuff with one of the best players in the entire country. The preseason ACC Player of the Year, of course, and the preseason All-American and the sophomore Kyle Filipowski. Guy who had 25 points in each of the first 2 games of the season, then coming off 15 points and 8 rebounds Tuesday in the win over Michigan State.
Well, he plays so hard, but he also takes a lot of beating because everybody's game plan is to stop him either with a front, full front, or a double, or sometimes even a triple team.
And so without his services, at least for now for Duke, they lead by 7, and they've got a scoring drought of about 4 minutes now, and they've turned it over 3 times in the last 3+ minutes. And now Bucknell's got it down by 7, headed toward halftime.
They made a good run without him in the Michigan State game at the first half when he went out with 2 fouls, but obviously it's a different feel when a team guy of that stature, that value, is not on the bench at all.
Late shot clock for Bucknell as Bosco looks off to the sideline and his head coach. To the corner, Biziek contested 3, got it in the face of Mitchell.
Well, Mitchell was there, but it was kind of a flat-footed contest. He never jumped, and Biziek's got that nice length, that 6'9", right over the top, smooth tonight.
His 3rd 3, he's got 11. Young underneath, back out for Proctor. Sticks it.
That's where Bucknell has to be careful. They dug in way too much. It was a little bit of an over-help situation on the inside. With no Filipowski, there's no reason to double and triple team in the paint. Must stay home on the shooters.
And Young passed it out. Biziek's feeling it. Too strong this time, and the rebound to Proctor. Duke wants to run. Tyrese Proctor at the controls. And now Mitchell going one-on-one with the size advantage. Off glass and it rolled out. Young the offensive rebound for Roach. Got it!
Now that's modern day basketball right there, Mike Monaco. Instead of going right back up, you turn and wheel to the outside and look for open shooters because they're going to be wide open with everybody in the paint.
And now Roach is hounding Bosco, who somehow escapes. Bosco wraps it around, and Biziek, too strong from the corner. Offensive rebound, Moda. And back out. Forrest can't hit.
Good job by Moda. That's where you find the open shooters, where everybody is sucked into the paint. You can kick it back out for an opener.
The analytics back that up as well. Off of offensive rebound, send it back out for a 3. It's a high percentage of them. Foster, no. Forrest the rebound, and Bucknell wants to slow things down by 10 inside of 2 to go in the half. The team picked 9th in the Patriot League, and they turn it over. Ryan Young, the flush! You don't get many of them, but Ryan Young with a jam, and this place is alive.
Josh Bosco made the mistake, threw a loose pass on the perimeter, and It was like he was playing on a Sunday morning in the playground instead of in Cameron Indoor. You can't not throw those loose passes.
Forrest can't answer. Proctor's got it. Duke's off to the races. Proctor for Foster. Down low, it's Mitchell. And the foul!
Exactly what Duke and their student body needed after Filipowski left the building with the injury. A little bit of a somber field, but their defense now and their attack mode taking over.
And how about this first half for Mark Mitchell? In 19 minutes of action, he's got 16 points on 6 of 10 shooting. And his best game so far of the young season.
Smart playing tonight by Mitchell. You know, he knows they're not guarding him, but he didn't stop playing. He's finding other ways to make things happen.
Final minute, first half. Bosco off the crossover. Back out for Williamson. Searching for Biziak. To the corner. And on the drive, McCreesh, an offensive foul.
Now, Duke's pressure right now, Mike, on the perimeter has got Bucknell sped up, and they've got to calm down. Instead of trying to dribble drive into traffic, use more of their dribble handoffs, which they did in the middle part of the half. Now they're trying to drive in and throw loose passes on the perimeter or over-penetrate against the pressure.
40 seconds, and John Shire takes the timeout. We'll take it with him. Quickly back to Durham right after this. Noted podcast host Ryan Young has joked with his teammates about what the over-under is for him for dunks this season. And in the second week of the season, who saw this one?
Right, at one point he's guarding Josh Bosco, the point guard, out on the perimeter, didn't ask for any help. He says, I have this at 6'10", and you know, at his age, he's seen everything. He's seen it all. He's the old man on the team, and he plays like it. Just experience and knows his role. Just loves being a part of this program and does whatever John Shire asks him to do.
He's closing in on 1,000 career points as well between his time in Evanston and here in Durham. Ten-second difference between game and shot clocks here at the end of the first half for the Blue Devils. Foster initiates around the screen from Young. Now McCain on the drive, back for Foster. No dice, and Forrest the rebound, and Bucknell can hold for the last shot with 6 seconds. Bosco for Williamson, straight away to the cup, and he missed the jam. Mitchell didn't get it off in time, and that'll do it for a first half that finishes with a flurry. Sans Filipowski for number 9 Duke.
Well, Bucknell showed a lot of grit and guts, and that last play put a little punch in their stomach, but John Griffin's team has nothing to be ashamed of, and Duke, their fiery defense has been a problem.
And all the attention on Kyle Filipowski at halftime. Let's get you to the studio alongside Carlos Boozer. How about this? We got our guy Matt Schick in studio. Second half action on the way back at Cameron Indoor Stadium with number 9 Duke up by 15 with Tim Welsh, Mike Monaco, and how about Tim? Mark Mitchell with 16 in the first half.
Found a lot of different ways to score around the basket, in transition, the rim run right down the middle of the lane. The high-low game that Duke plays to perfection, especially against the zone. They did a good job. He's basically a moving target and has stepped out as well and knocked one in.
On the other side of things, the 16 for Mark Mitchell. For Bucknell, Jack Forrest and Rue Biziak have combined for 26.
Biziak came into this game just dreadful from the outside, 2 for 15, but early and often he was very confident, and then Forrest was shut down early because Duke said, I'm getting in your face, we're not leaving you, we're not helping at all, but he adjusted his game. He moved without the ball, they put him in dribble handoffs and pick and rolls and got him off stagger screens on the weak side, and he doesn't need much room to get open and knock it down.
No, he doesn't. 6 combined threes from those two guys, and all but 3 of the points and all but 1 of the buckets for Bucknell, who was within 4 before an 11-0 run to close the half for Duke, and they did a lot of that without Kyle Filipowski, who, whoa, exhale Duke Nation. Kyle Filipowski just tested out his ankle here in warm-ups before the second half, and what a sight that is.
Well, he rolled it pretty good over there on the left side of the floor on that wing, trying to post up, but he is a tough cat.
Came out about a minute after everyone else from the locker room out of halftime. Went through some warm-ups, got some shots up, tested out the ankle, and good to go as Forrest flashes for the first 2 of the second half.
That's good play call out of the locker room for John Griffin III. Just misdirection, Forrest direct face cut to the rim.
Bucknell continues to sag off of Mark Mitchell, who was 1 of 2 from deep in the first half. Knocked down 35% from 3 last year on a pretty low volume of attempts. Bosco off the bounce on Mitchell, and that's just tough to handle for Noah Williamson.
He's done that a few times. He dribble drives in there, he gets himself in trouble with nowhere to go.
And Duke makes him pay with Tyrese Proctor.
Bosco kind of half ran back, half sprinted, half ran back. You've got to sprint your tail off, and he kind of put his head down a little bit after that turnover.
He initiates with Rue Biziak, and now Ian Moda. Forrest trying to run free from Roach off some screens. A lot of dribbling from Moda. Working on McCain. Shot clock at 7. Here's Forrest. Jab step, drive, and good hands from Roach. 2.2 to shoot for Bucknell.
A little bit too much dribbling now in the last few possessions for Bucknell. You've got to dribble and make a quick decision, and we talked about in the first half, kick it back out.
Lob for Williamson and drawn up beautifully with just the 2 seconds to work with.
That was a very nice play. Everybody was outside, a little 2-man game in the paint.
Again, a Bucknell team at 1-3. They've been busy so far the first couple of weeks of the season. Roach knocks it down.
That's Filipowski again. They were loaded up on him on ball side, and Roach just flashed up from that wing area and found himself wide open.
Filipowski was banging with Noah Williamson, and then Tyrese Proctor stepped in and had something to say to Noah Williamson. Foul goes on Kyle Filipowski.
See Filipowski, they send the double. There's no real reason to double him like that. He's got his back to the basket about 10-12 feet away from the rim. Now when he puts it on the floor, that's different. But it's very difficult to double him on the catch because he's so smart. He's an improved passer, and he's got that size where he can see over the double.
They're going to go to the monitor now and have a look at the exchange between Kyle Filipowski and Noah Williamson. Williamson was trying to establish some positioning, and he was banging with an unflinching Kyle Filipowski.
You put your defense really in a tough situation against a Duke when you just aimlessly double from the outside and you leave somebody open on the weak side. Here you'll see it. A little this, a little that. I think we can let the fellas play on after that and just maybe call it a common foul.
So the lead at 17 for Duke here in the first couple of minutes out of halftime. Blue Devils coming off those back-to-back games, if you're just joining us, against top 20 opponents. Last Friday against Arizona, who, by the way, is now ranked 3rd in the country. And then Tuesday, Michigan State, ranked 18th. And this is the first of 3 for the Blue Devils before Arkansas, less than 2 weeks away on the road. And then the ACC opener in Atlanta against Georgia Tech. Forrest being shadowed by Mitchell. Got a piece of it.
That's a bad decision by Forrest. He has to understand that Mitchell at 6'9" is not going to give him that little floater in the lane.
Now Mitchell attacking, and that's what John Shire has wanted from Mark Mitchell.
You got to make the defense pay. If they're not going to guard you on the perimeter, you have to find other ways to contribute to your team on the offensive end, and Mitchell has done that tonight in a multitude of ways.
Sophomore has already matched his career high with 18. Biziak recovered. Biziak off the bounce. Has it roll off. And then Mitchell fired to Proctor, wasn't looking for it. And Tyrese Proctor says, just use Jared McCain.
Or Filipowski, or yourself. You know, Mitchell can bring the ball himself. He's good numbers last year as a passer. But they're trying to do what John Shire wants them to do. They'll really race up the court, get it up, and it's much easier to obviously to get it up with the pass than the dribble. They're just trying to fly at Bucknell.
Ball screen from Williamson for Bosco. Low catch for Williamson, who had to bring it down with the pass delivered there, and then a Bucknell turnover, their 10th already. Proctor kicks, McCain hoists, hits.
Now that's exactly what John Shire wants. Get it and go, space it, find the open man before the defense gets set, and knock it in.
8-0 run the last 90 seconds for the Blue Devils here at home at Cameron. At one point at shoot-around today, John Shire said to his team, make or miss, guys, we're running. We are running the entire game.
Well, this is a clinic on how to run a fast break. Tyrese Proctor with his head up, changing direction, never put his eyes down on the floor, but anything he knew exactly where his teammate Jared McCain was, delivered the pass absolutely perfect right into the shooting pocket. McCain took him about a half second to release and go.
Tyrese Proctor with 11 points, 4 assists, and again, no turnovers.
You know, if you don't, though, make that pass perfectly into the pocket, that allows the defense to come back and get a good contest. But that's why Proctor is a special point guard.
Initiating for Duke, who has seen its lead swell to 22 in the first 4 minutes out of halftime here at Cameron. Bosco with the shot clock winding down for Moda. Got it, and much needed for Bucknell.
So that's basically how Bucknell has to attack. They have to keep trying to dribble drive on ball reversal and then try to kick it out and try to make some threes and just hope that they can get a few open ones.
Yeah, you've been calling for that throughout this game. Mitchell off the shot fake for an easy 2, and he's got a career-high 20.
Mark Mitchell is doing a real good job of presenting himself big, but also sliding into open areas. He's doing a great job of reading his man and then getting open on the backside.
Bosco for Williamson. He can step out and shoot it, but no dice that time. Proctor attacks in transition this time, and back out for McCain on the dribble drive. Filipowski is going to the free throw line. First 4+ minutes into this second half, and it's Duke by 21 at home. Sunday, catch a women's college basketball doubleheader right here on the ACC Network. Up first, it's number 25 Oklahoma visiting Virginia at 2 Eastern. And then Bucknell takes on number 19 Louisville at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Both games also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. With Tim Welsh, Mike Monaco, and our entire crew behind the scenes from Cameron Indoor Stadium. Game number 4 for number 9 Duke. The headline in this one was the injury status of Kyle Filipowski headed to halftime, and great to see that he has been able to return to this game.
He's out there right before the start of the second half, testing it out with all his medium to long range jumpers, and that time it was showed well on the box with the physicality drawing the foul.
How rare is his skill set in the game?
It's today's basketball, Mike. I mean, the young kids of today, they grow up, everybody wants to be Steph Curry, including the big guys. And if you grow to 7 feet and you've got the skills like Wembyama, you know, great things will happen. Because you know, I like the way Duke plays, though. They don't totally rely on 5 out and take 45 threes a night. They'll take threes when available. They're not a great three-point shooting team, but they're good. But we all know the analytics say take the threes, but they still play power basketball. They have good balance to their system.
They've taken 18 in this game. They've knocked down 8 of them. Good clip, 44%. And they've got the 23-point lead on Bucknell in these first 5 minutes out of halftime. Roach to the bench, joining Filipowski. Right now it's Foster, McCain, Stewart, 3 freshmen for Duke, plus Proctor and Young, the 5 for John Shire. And the Crazies back in rhythm. Here's McCreesh off the bounce to the corner for Biziak. Doesn't get the roll, and the rebound to McCain, and again Duke runs. Shoveled out for Proctor. Too strong. Stewart one-arms a rebound. Back out Foster. Yes!
Well, there's your analytics, Mike Monaco. Inside off the offensive glass, back outside to a good three-point shooter.
So 9 made threes now for the Blue Devils. 7-0 run and 15-3 run over the last 3.5 minutes. Off the Forrest miss.
The athleticism of Stewart, just snaring that rebound way out of his area.
Oh, good pass from Young back to Proctor.
There's Ryan Young. He's the old school player, though. He's got his head up. He's always looking for that open man and just made himself available with the extra pass.
And now Pip Ajayi trying to direct. Handoff for the St. Joe's transfer, Quinn Berger, and back to Ajayi. And it'll stay with Bucknell with 11 to shoot.
This is what we talked about, still being able to attack the paint and look inside, make that extra pass for the easy one.
Shot clock below 10 for Rue Biziak and McCreesh. Young got switched onto him, and McCreesh stops, pops, but can't hit. Boy, guard rebound are going to be so important for Duke. John Shire's talked about that in the early going, and McCain ripped down another, and then he sinks a three.
Well, they're starting to get into their rhythm, not only on the offensive and making shots inside and out, but defensively they are just swarming the basketball.
(20-3) is the run for Duke, and it forces Bucknell into another timeout, and now 10 triples from the Blue Devils.
Well, going inside, Mike, it usually creates open opportunities on the outside, and that's what Duke has done all night long. They're trying to rim run, they're trying to play the power game with Filipowski and Mitchell inside along with Young, but then Bucknell's not going to give that up. They're going to give up perimeter shots, and Duke's been able to knock them down.
Hey, tomorrow morning, the ACC Huddle Crew will kick off the day in Atlanta at Bobby Dodd Stadium at 11 a.m. Eastern. 60-minute pregame show leads into Miami, Louisville at noon. Syracuse, Georgia Tech is at 8, and the Huddle Crew is with you throughout. This building has come alive here in the second half, and Duke is pulling away from Bucknell. .12 straight for the Blue Devils. And here's Ajayi.
Duke's defense really starting to wear on Josh Bosco. He's not used to playing these major minutes against this type of pressure.
Ajayi got the roll as Stewart went up for the block. There's Young banging with Ajayi, finding the cutting Blakes, and tipped out of bounds by Berger. Blakes, McCain, Foster, Stewart, and Young, the 5 for Duke. McCain's got 9 points and a team-high 7 rebounds. Foster drives and got fouled on the way up.
Duke moved some pieces around in the middle of last season. They moved Tyrese Proctor to the 1 and put Jeremy Roach off the ball. We really paid huge dividends. You know, they turned into a different type of basketball team, kind of a team that played more of a quicker, fast, up-tempo style with a very efficient point guard. But Proctor has taken it to a new level this year. You can just see the confidence, understanding now I'm the quarterback out here on the floor. Everything runs through me to start, but got great balance. They unselfish play. They can score in a lot of different ways. As we said, fast break. They can go inside. They go in, out, or they can just play a pure power game if they have to. But I like when Young comes in because they run things through him, and he's always got his head up to make that extra pass, finding an open cutter.
They played more minutes in that win against Michigan State. He and Caleb Foster both did. as really the only two guys off the bench for Duke. Quinn Berger for 3 out of the corner for Bucknell.
Good execution by Bucknell. Understanding Duke's going to help on that dribble drive and kick to the weak side, that drive and drift.
Foster can't answer, and McCain tracks down the offensive rebound, and Duke is plus 17 on the boards. TJ Powers into the game again. McCain's feeling it.
Well, they're all feeling it because they're unselfish. The court is spaced. They've got their head up. Their timing is excellent against that zone with their cuts and their ball reversal.
Off an 11th offensive rebound for Duke. Good catch, Ajayi.
Just roll to the rim, and Roscoe has settled down a little bit at the point in the last few possessions.
Has 3 turnovers, but does have 7 assists. Good patience from Foster, and then Stewart follows it up.
Well, this is where Duke's size is just overwhelming Bucknell right now. I mean, just the numbers, not only the size per se, but you bring in Young, you bring in Stewart off the bench, you just keep going inside, up on the glass.
And TJ Power, number 32 recruit in the country, before he just checked in and played 1 minute in this game. He's back in, and Duke is in total control midway through the second half at Cameron. So much great history as a program for Bucknell. We mentioned they won 8 Patriot League regular season titles in a 9-year span, as recently concluding in 2019. And who could forget that 2005 team that grabbed the sport's attention with a win over 3-seed Kansas?
Pat Flannery did an unbelievable job, and helping out at Penn State with Mike Rhodes. Of course, Dave Paulson did a terrific job as well. He's now at Holy Cross.
He had left Lewisburg to head off to George Mason. Driving dish, and Williamson got the feed from Bosco. And now year 1 for John Griffin III. Of course, he was on that 2005 team, part of 2 NCAA tournament squads, 4 years as an assistant at Bucknell, and 2 more trips to the Big Dance. And then, as we told you, most recently 4 years as the associate head coach at St. Joe's.
Well, he's got the chops. Let's just put it the way it is. He grew up under a great coach and paid attention. Paid attention to all his coaches, was a great player in his own right. Won a Philly Catholic League title, and actually was there that night, and it was an unbelievable upset. He went mano a mano with the great Kyle Lowry. And I knew he was a player that night when I saw him.
Yeah, we asked John Griffin III about it. He said not 1 but 2 wins over Kyle Lowry, who he's known since he was 11 years old.
Oh, you don't forget
I hang those over Kyle's head.
Oh, you don't forget those.
Jeremy Roach comes up short. A really good player out of St. Joe's Prep. Shot Stewart goes diving. Does stay with Bucknell.
The only difference between that and where he is now is, as a coach, you only remember the losses.
Yeah.
You don't remember the wins. Okay, next. But the losses, you blame yourself and you have the sleepless nights. But John, I really like talking to him today, catching up with him. I've known him since he was a youngster, and he gets it. He understands he's got a great opportunity with a real good program. I mean, they're on a rebuild, but they will get back there because they have a good basketball program.
A guy known for his intensity as a player and now a coach as well. I mean, he talked to us at the end of the shoot-around. He was in a full sweat.
He and his brother, who was an assistant coach as well.
Yeah, Matt Griffin on staff with brother John. Late shot clock for Williamson, who has the mismatch, scores with the left hand. It'll be fun to watch Noah Williamson this year in the Patriot League for Bucknell. 7-footer, we told you, from Latvia, averaging 11.5 and 7 so far after just 5 minutes a game last year. Had the big game in the win over Niagara with 22 and 11.
You know, the score is what it is. Obviously, you're playing against Duke in this building, but John Griffin III is going to go back to Bucknell proud of his team. I mean, they have played hard. They've played tough. They've made a lot of good basketball plays. I mean, they're going to be a threat in the Patriot League, especially when they get Edmonds back.
There's Blake's on the block. And now Proctor. And we told you Bucknell picked 9th in the Patriot League. Got to replace a lot from last year at the top of the rotation. traveling call on Jeremy Roach. Now this Bucknell team lost its top 3 scorers from last year. Xander Rice is now at Monmouth. Alex Timmerman's at Winthrop, and we told you Andre Screen, the big fella, left after last year's junior year and is at Butler.
Xander Rice had 30 the other night at West Virginia as they beat the Mountaineers on the road under King Rice.
And he went off. 9.5 to go, second half action in Durham. Biziak is being harassed by Tyrese Proctor, gets tagged with the foul. And that is 3 on Proctor.
I think Jon Scheyer's takeaway from this was obviously time left, but Tyrese Proctor's ability to knock down a shot with confidence, and also Mark Mitchell just kind of getting back into that flow as a scorer.
And Proctor 3 of 5 from deep, and Mitchell, we told you, with a career high 20. And we had asked Jon Scheyer today, what'd you learn the last 2 games? And he said, I believe more than ever that we can be good, because he felt like they didn't play their best, or in some cases even close to their best, in their last couple of games. And 5-point loss to Arizona, and then nearly a double-digit point win against Michigan State on Tuesday. Biziak had to jack, nearly banked it in. Young the rebound. Tipped out of bounds by Ado.
Yeah, truthfully, they did not play that well against, especially against Arizona here. You know, the ball control, empty possessions, quick shots, but still they had control of the game late. They were up late. I believe it was 2 minutes to go. They were up, and you know, we all know how good Arizona is going to be as well. So when these teams match up this early in the season, you learn so much about your team and what you need to do moving forward.
Well, McCain no, and Williamson the rebound.
That's why college basketball is so much better in the last 10 years because of these early season matchups. The teams are just going out and playing each other.
There's Roach, and he drew the foul from Forrest. Yeah, it's so much better when you get the heavyweight showdowns the first couple of weeks.
I mean, when did you ever get back in the day, as we used to say, Arizona at Duke in the second week in November, and just a regular non-conference home and home
on campus? So Jeremy Roach, after getting up, going to the line. The senior, 2-time captain, leads them in minutes and recently went over 1,000 career points.
A lot of times, though, Mike, your ability to schedule more difficultly is directly affiliated with the length of your contract. Let me just tell you that much. You know, you better feel good in your shoes before you start scheduling Arizona home and home. And both John, obviously, with a brand new contract, and Duke is so smart locking him in, and then Tommy Lloyd's just a star at Arizona.
No doubt. Hey, tomorrow tune into our Week 12 ACC Network football lineup, starting with number 10 Louisville against Miami at noon Eastern. Then the Hokies and the Pack in Blacksburg at 3:30, and we finish the day with Syracuse and Georgia Tech at 8. All games available as well on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Yeah, the leash is different, and therefore the schedules are different.
Well, obviously, Mike Krzyzewski is the greatest basketball coach we've seen of all time. But Jon Scheyer following his shoes, it's been seamless. You know, obviously because of Mike's support, because of the school support, but because he's so good at what he does, and he paid attention while he was next to Mike.
Forrest moves it, and Ado sticks it. Josh Ado's first points, the senior from California, an energy giver in his third year in the rotation for Bucknell. Proctor navigating, dumping off for Young. Back out Foster. Got it. 12 threes for Duke.
Well, Caleb Foster, new confidence was found in Chicago the other night, and he's continuing that this evening.
Really built off that scoreless showing and bounce back. Jon Scheyer said a big-time response with his 18. Tom Izzo said he was the best player. Proctor spins one out, and Forrest clears it for Bucknell. Duke's got 20 assists on 28 made buckets and those dozen threes.
Continue to play harassing defense, hands up in the passing lanes, contesting, just in a stance.
Force Bosco to make a tough shot. It's a 2 on a step back.
The thing I like about their defense is they're very aggressive, Mike, but they don't over gamble. They kind of just play solid with each other.
Power no. He's still in search of his first collegiate points, and then look out on press row. Ryan Young goes crashing in. Bucknell trying to hang around. Duke's defense forcing the Bison into tough shots like this. A little less size this year compared to last year for Duke. So going into the opener, John Shire had said to us, our guards need the rebound. And he said, we didn't rebound the ball well our first 2 games, but it was better against Michigan State. It's been a lot better tonight.
Yeah, you can work on that. Obviously, they got good quickness. You've got to just go find the basketball. But when they're so talented on the perimeter with playing those 3 guards, you kind of get into that mindset you're always out on the perimeter, whether it's pressuring on the defensive end or offensive end, driving, kicking. But you can work on that by film, and there's a lot of drills you can. You got to kind of pound that into their heads that you need their help a little bit because you can't rely totally on Mitchell and Filipowski.
And at 6'3", you saw Jared McCain. He has a game-high 9 rebounds to go along with a dozen points. Forrest got free, can't connect, and then another guard rebound from Caleb Foster.
Well, that's the advantage, though, and John, I'm sure, is pounding this into their head, is you get it, especially on the number of perimeter shots that are taken these days. You're going to get those medium to deep rebounds, and then you can get a run out by yourself.
Power no, and cleared by Ajayi.
It's always nice when a guard can just kickstart a fast break without having to outlet the ball.
Get and go, like you were saying with Mark Mitchell earlier. Ado comes up short, and McCain's got a double-double now with 12 and 10. Off the bounce, he draws a foul. What sort of tempo would you like to see Duke play at as the year goes along? Well, do you have a sense of what their best is?
They have to play fast. They've got that ability to create with those 3 guards, and then you've got just a big guy who plays all over the floor and is so smart and so tough and understands that everything's going to go through him, but he can create for others as well.
Can't leave Jared McCain that wide open. He's made 5 threes, and he's got 15. Inside of 6 to go, and every touch challenging for Forrest, and then he turned it over. Off to the races. Foster lays it in.
Now this is where John Shire is going to go back tonight and have his tuna sandwich and say, with a little smile on his face, and say, my team is getting better, because right now, even with a 41-point deficit, a 31-point deficit, you're looking up and your team is just overplaying everything and pressuring the basketball and harassing. They're not taking a step back at all defensively.
Coming up next, our doubleheader continues with Carolina, ranked 20th in the country, hosting UC Riverside at the Dean Dome at 8 o'clock. Catch it all on ACC Network and the app. Late night tuna fish, is that what I heard?
Yes, but Mike, I did go to a state school. I didn't go to Notre Dame. I didn't know 82 minus 51 is not 41, it's 31. Thank God we have a good producer in my ear to correct me.
With 5:09 to go. Couple of fouls on Stewart, and Ado earns another. Splits at the line, and Foster the rebound. It's Foster, Blakes, Stewart, Power, and McCain. And Stewart's got a chance at 3.
He's got a chance to be really good, because we all know what a great athlete he is, but now they're starting to show signs of becoming a good basketball player. Just the rim run is just special. Just unbelievable. But the footwork, the ability to kind of gather himself, clear some space for a little drop step, and the soft jumper.
Grew up on the same street as Grant Hill. Those families very close in the upbringing of Sean Stewart, who was number 19 in our ESPN 100, a McDonald's All-American, and as Duke fans know by now, a standing vertical of 36 inches, the highest recorded in Duke history, that topped Zion by a ½ inch. That plays.
Well, the luxury of bringing in Stewart, and you bring in Reeves when he gets healthy, and Ryan Young and power. And that's where you can play a little bit more aggressively on the inside because you've got fouls to give. And they showed it in the Michigan State game with Filipowski in foul trouble in the first half. The lead grew for Duke with him on the bench.
It's been 10 deep for Duke in this game. And if you're just joining us, no Christian Reeves because yesterday in practice sprained his right ankle. So unavailable for the Blue Devils tonight. The lead is an even 30.
It's funny, it doesn't seem like it because Bucknell hasn't relented. They've played solid. They're not just coming down the floor, taking bad shots, not turning it over, but Duke's defense has really been good and allowed them to get out and transition. And then, of course, their spacing and their ability to move the ball from side to side and find the open man and knock down the shot has really been the difference.
Saw the 11 turnovers for Bucknell, and they've shot at 38% from the floor against Duke's defense. Berger, shot clock at 4, driving on Power, and Blakes with the steal and the save to Power. Foster in transition. Around and out in the rebound, Moda. And now Bucknell runs and backs it out to Bosco.
You know, and everybody's not going to let you run up and down the floor. We know that. We know that when you play against Virginia, you know, they're going to make it a possession-by-possession game. So you have to run good half-court offense. But I think Duke has that ability because they have that balance. They will go high-low. They'll use the bigs inside. They'll go into the paint. They'll reverse the ball. They'll dribble drive into the gaps, and then they'll take their threes on opportunity if they don't have transition.
McCain quickly through the legs, slashing, and fouled by Williamson. 3:35 to go. Duke up by 30, trying to get the 3-1. Sunday, it's a women's basketball doubleheader right here on ACCN. It starts with number 25 Oklahoma in Charlottesville at 2 Eastern, and then it's Bucknell against a top 20 foe in Louisville at 4 o'clock. Both games also available on the ESPN app. With Tim Welsh, Mike Monaco with 3:35 to go here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The Crazies watching a top 10 team at Duke trying to get to 3-1 on the young season. Next up for Duke, it'll be LaSalle on Tuesday, and then Southern Indiana a week from today here at Cameron before the ACC SEC Challenge the following Wednesday on a trip to Arkansas.
Johns knows that's a big game as well, just to put some points on the board for the old resume, and obviously going to Arkansas, you can do that with Eric Musselman's squad is again loaded in deep, and Bud Walton Arena is a pretty special place. This is as good as it gets here, but that's right up there.
Yeah, John Shire was already chatting with us about what that one's going to be like, making that trip to Arkansas. It's going to be a late night special. Walk-on Spencer Hubbard is into the game. He got a scholarship before this season and had points in the opener for Duke against Dartmouth. 55 in white. Blake's down the lane with the finish.
Oh, Jalen Blakes has played his tail off here in the last 10 minutes, starting with his defense and his overall hustle and intensity. And the guys coming off the bench continue to fly at Bucknell.
And then he just added his first points, and now Stewart wrangles down a rebound. 2:40 to go. Meanwhile, for Bucknell, this is their 4th straight road game. We told you, all in a span of 9 days. They finally get back home Monday against Southern Indiana. Here is Blakes. Navigating the pick and roll with the Stanford transfer, Neil Begovic. Williamson to the block. Can't finish over Stewart. Begovic straight on. Stewart fighting for the boards, and he got it free to Power inside of 2 minutes and a fresh 20.
A little bit of a collision over there. Power fouled, but refs have put the whistles away.
Hubbard calling for a ball screen. Got to get it up. He does. And left it short. Fan favorite. You can hear that. A crease for Williamson inside of 90 seconds to go. Stewart didn't bite. Moda pivoting and back out for Berger. Bosco on the drive. McCreesh the cut, the finish, and the foul.
It's a good cut by Brandon McCreesh on the weak side. And I know they like him. They think he's going to be a player down the road. He's a freshman from the Bronx.
He's a utility guard who John Griffin III even said back in the summer. He's a really good cutter. And he found the space there from Bosco. A reminder, don't go anywhere. We will get you to Chapel Hill for Carolina and UC Riverside. 1:10 to go here. Power. Got his own miss and drew a foul.
Well, you can see why John Shire really likes Power. The ability is another big, just to put the ball on the deck, change directions, good footwork and fluidity at the rim. And good to see him play a little bit at his prep school up at Worcester Academy. He is absolutely going to be a good player.
He's got his first college point. Free throw at the line for the native of Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. He's a really good baseball player as well. A lefty up to 88 miles an hour and a self-described pretty good slider too. That's imposing. It's 6'9" coming at you.
Little Randy Johnson.
Yeah. Final minute. Patrick O'Brien, true freshman, was looking for somewhere to go. And now Moda spinning on Begovic and the finish. That bucket's significant to some. 7-second difference between game and shot clocks.
John Griffin III has got to be proud of his team. They fought hard. He's coached them hard. And they're going to grow. They're going to grow. He is an excellent basketball coach. They learned a lot tonight. But Duke, I think, is growing as well. Understanding their roles, understanding that they can play inside out, and confidence growing from their perimeter players as well as with the ability to knock down shots.
Hubbard whistled for a block with 12 seconds left. And so a couple weeks away from things ramping back up for Duke. I mentioned Arkansas, and then about 2 weeks away from that conference opener in Atlanta with, again, the early league play, at least initially, against Georgia Tech. Elsewhere around the league, Notre Dame got a good win in Brooklyn, and Miami got a win in the Bahamas against Georgia. Matt Schick, Carlos Boozer, they're standing by as we close things down at Cameron. Duke is 3-1. 90-60 the final over Bucknell here at Cameron.
Tap to buzzer effort by Duke. John Shire's got to go home tonight and feel real good about taking another step as far as chemistry and the ability to have balanced scoring.
20 from Mark Mitchell in his best game of the young season. A career high for the sophomore who didn't play in the opener with that sprained ankle, and in his third game, he was on point, Tim.
No, he's invaluable. We talked about him earlier. He missed that game against Tennessee in the second round of the NCAA tournament, and they really missed his versatility, not only offensively, defensively. They're switching defenses and the ability to score inside and out.
Reminder that Carolina UC Riverside's coming up. Right now, we'll get you to the studio for Tim Welsh and our entire crew, Mike Monaco, to Matt Schick.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.